Coming up in the Parliament report, the House has a new leader, Shahine Robinson, to take a seat on the front benches, and the parliamentary squabble over Prime Minister's title. The lower house now has a new leader of government business. He is former Speaker of the House, Delroy Chuck. Chuck, who retained his position as Justice Minister in the Andrew Holness cabinet, will also have responsibility for electoral matters. The man who sat in the Speaker's chair from 2007 up until July of this year says he will be working to get rid of crude and rude behavior in Parliament. In a Gleaner interview with Chuck after he was sworn in as Justice Minister at King's House on October 25, the former House Speaker stressed that crude behavior should never be tolerated in Parliament. According to Chuck, as House Leader, I will ensure that we eliminate any behavior that is unparliamentary or inappropriate. The new leader of government business also responded to the question of how we would facilitate the speedy passage of crucial pieces of legislation and expedite debate on a plethora of private members' motions which have been on the order paper for months. Chuck indicates that the time spent carrying out the country's business could be utilized more effectively in Parliament if lawmakers curb unnecessary and lengthy speeches. The House leader also signaled that the tardiness of the legislature was an issue that had to be addressed. Andrew Holness offloaded his former duties as leader of government business in the House when he was elevated to the position of Prime Minister. Former State Minister, now turned Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Water, Environment, Housing and Local Government, Shahine Robinson, is expected to join her cabinet colleagues on the front benches in the legislature. Former Prime Minister Bruce Golding's departure from the executive now creates a vacant seat on the front benches of the government side in Parliament. The North East St. Anne Member of Parliament was a junior minister with responsibility for local government in the Bruce Golding administration. She has now been promoted to Minister without portfolio with responsibility for local government. Asked what would be her priority for local government, Robinson said, building better communities and delivery of service to citizens. Robinson was ousted from Parliament by the courts late last year after admitting she was a United States citizen, which made her ineligible to sit in the House. However, she was subsequently returned to the House after her win in a by-election in December 2010. And finally, in the Parliament report, two lawmakers on the government side on October 26 engaged in a verbal clash over which title should be attributed to Prime Minister Andrew Holness. The drama unfolded at a meeting of the Constituency Development Fund, the CDF Committee of Parliament. Eastern St. Andrew Member of Parliament St. Aubin Bartlett had struck out the word most from the Prime Minister's title. The Prime Minister, who is Member of Parliament for St. Andrew West Central, was seeking funds from the CDF unit to finance a project in his constituency. Documents submitted to the meeting by the CDF unit referred to the Prime Minister as Most Honourable Andrew Holness. Bartlett struck out the word most, and that triggered a sharp response from controversial Southwest St. Catherine MP Everald Warmington, who chairs the CDF committee. Warmington inquired, who crossed out the Most Honourable Andrew Holness on here? At first, there was no response. Then Bartlett replied, I did. An agitated Warmington charged, you don't have the authority to cross out anything here. Bartlett responded, because he is not the most honourable. But Warmington questioned, what is he? In a swift response, Bartlett said, he is the honourable. The two continued in a verbal tussle to no avail. Prime Minister Holness, who was sworn in on October 23, was not conferred with the Order of the Nation, ON, a protocol officer at the Office of the Prime Minister told the Gleaner. It has also been suggested that the Prime Minister could be called Most Honourable if he were also conferred with the Order of Merit. This has been another edition of the Parliament Report. Thanks for logging on. Until the next bulletin, I'm Edmund Campbell saying, walk good.